So, welcome everybody to Revolutionize Your Marketing.
Do you know what time it is? It is time. It is time for you to revolutionize your marketing. You are in the right place at the right time. We are here every Friday, live at 5 Eastern, that is. And you know who your host is? The one and only John Petros Sr. John joins us every Friday at 5 o'clock Eastern as part of the World of Ability Podcast Network. And it is time to revolutionize your marketing. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great, Sue. Thank you. And welcome, folks, to Revolutionize Your Marketing. And what you see in the background here is where I wish I was right now. But this is why people start businesses so they can enjoy life like that. And that's why I help businesses to grow. And I do have a special guest tonight that helps people grow their businesses as well. Let's bring Melvin in. How are we doing, Melvin?
Fantastic, John. How you doing?
I'm doing great. So let's
Good, good.
let's let people know where you are and how you got to do what you're doing now.
Well, I'm based out of Rhode Island. At this very moment, I'm in the Azores in Portugal. So that's where I am at this very moment. But yeah, I'm originally from Detroit, but for the last 22 years or so, I've been in Rhode Island. And I used to be a director of sales in the corporate space, and had a lot of success in the corporate arena. But when you're working in the corporate world, sometimes things change, and it's time to do your own thing. So I decided to take that leap of faith and leave the safe corporate job, and got involved in direct sales and had some decent success in that. And then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I realized everyone's moving online. Everyone was moving over to Zoom. So I said, how can I leverage this Zoom technology to take it, to grow my direct sales business? And that's when I started studying internet marketing. And the more I studied internet marketing, the more I realized, you have people out there where all they do is press a button, but because they've taken time to put systems and processes in place, folks go to their website and buy a lot of their stuff. So I said, hey, I would love to become, one of those people. So I spent a lot of money on coaches and mentors, and I bought programs and refunded programs. I went through that whole process. As I was going through that process, I realized I was teaching myself a new skill. And I said, if I got really good at helping people generate leads and customers, folks would pay me for it. And so that allowed me to start my own, I made the decision to start my own digital marketing agency. So I did that, start that in 2020. And we haven't looked back. So we've done very well over the last 6 years with helping folks generate leads, set up automations, websites, social media, paid ads. We're also a data agency, which basically means we're able to identify folks who are looking for products and services in real time. We do a lot on LinkedIn as well. So we do automated LinkedIn outreach marketing as well. So that's been our core function, but we're working on something that's brand new now as well. But that's kind of my background and kind of how I got here today.
You touched on something that I haven't heard in a while. And the phrase I remembered was always look ahead and never look behind, because what's behind you is past and you want to go forward. Something to that element. I can't exactly remember how the whole phrase went, but that is very true. If you want to
Yeah.
keep on growing, you got to keep looking ahead and never look back.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I think we can look back to learn on our experiences, right? And what do we learn from those experiences, right? But you take those past experiences to help you to move forward, and you just don't have any regrets, right? Everything you went through during that time helped to prepare you for this particular moment, right? So, I like to count it all joy. It's one of my favorite Bible verses is count it all joy, right? So no matter what you go through, you can find, joy in those things. So I agree with you.
Yeah, that's like I'm an author and one of 42 authors in a book, and we all have a chapter where we talk about our stories. And everybody starts off with a quote. And the quote I put in mine is kind of on that same line.
Mhm.
A mistake is not a mistake. It's a learning curve. Just like the old phrase, if you don't succeed at first, try again. And I added at the end, until you succeed.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, we all fail, right? Anyone that's successful, they've had to fail, right? A lot of people are afraid to try things. They're afraid to fail, right? But if we don't try, we don't fail, then we don't know what corrections to make, so we never end up getting there. So a lot of people just give up when they fail, right? But you just got to keep going. So
Yeah. And that's exactly what you did to get to where you are. Jumped the hurdles and kept on going.
absolutely.
Anybody in sports, that's how they feel too. Hurdles come along and too many people hit the hurdles and stop dead. And it ends up that they end up losing their momentum in the process. I've done it myself with past businesses. And you just gotta jump those hurdles and keep on going. Like the Energizer Bunny, just keeps on going.
Yeah, I've been as we expand with our new product exchange, I've been interviewing interns, and I'm always constantly, one of my favorite questions is, what's the toughest thing, either business or person, you've ever had to go through? So I love asking that question because it tells you a lot about people, because first it's interesting, they search for an answer. Are they going to tell you something personal? Or are they going to tell you something business? And the personal stories always tell me if they're being genuine. But what I like about that question is, at least for me, just because of my background and how I grew up, like I love working with people, bringing on people who have had to go through challenges, because when things get hard, because marketing business is hard, right? And so if you've never had to go through anything, when you get a roadblock or obstacle, I always like to know, okay, how are you going to handle it? Like, how are you going to overcome that? Or if things are too easy for you, you just end up, packing your bag, or I should say, taking your ball and going home. So I love bringing on people who have had to overcome things because it says a lot about people's, character.
Yeah, that's that is true. Um, that's kind of what I was doing when I worked for the local newspaper. Towards the end, I was interviewing em- future employees, and I was kind of asking questions about their personality background and how they would handle different things, which is what most interviewers would be asking. And I've had people that came out with the worst freaking answers. I said, yeah, okay, check, cross that one off the list. But yeah, so in your marketing, what's I'm I'm going to ask it this way: what's the special part about your marketing that you have?
I think it's really about results. And a lot of people, say that, but I've really tried to design my marketing agency around truly, genuinely doing the best that we can to get people, real results. Over the last, 6 years, we've done a good job. We've helped a lot of businesses over the last, 6 years. And we talked about earlier about kind of taking a look at your past, and what I realized, and I've not spoken to, I'm not thousands, of business owners over the last 6 years, because one of the things that we do on the marketing standpoint is we start conversations with folks leveraging LinkedIn automated outreach. I booked well over 2,000 Zoom meetings in a 2-year time frame using LinkedIn automated, outreach. So I've had a lot of conversations, and what I realized is that a lot of businesses have spent a ton of money on marketing, and many of them have not seen the results. And they know they should spend money on marketing. They know that's how they should grow. And there is a ton of digital marketing agencies out there because it doesn't require a special degree. So anyone can say, "Hey, I'm a digital marketing company," and they can use other folks, to do the fulfillment for them. They're just kind of selling them marketing services, and we started like that as well. Um, so over the last 6 years, I've seen it become an issue with businesses spending a ton of money and they're really just guessing and gambling and playing, or they're spending money with these agencies, and the agencies don't really have control over what's really happening. And then when things don't go well, they say, "Oh, well, Facebook changed the algorithm, or Google did this," right? So it's some type of an excuse. And so what I wanted to do is, which is why I named my company MVP Marketing Results, is I wanted to create an agency that truly cared about providing people results. Um, so what I've been working on the last year is something that's called MVP Marketing Exchange. And it's a platform where we are able to give businesses, whether you're local or online, visibility. And the whole goal is to create a system or an ecosystem that sends these businesses customers, but they don't actually have to pay until the customers actually spend money with that business. So the whole goal is to flip the model upside down to where we can truly say that we're going to send you clients, but you don't pay until they actually pay you. But we didn't just stop there. We took it a step further. And so how it's set up is, let's say you're a local business. Obviously, there has to be some type of marketing fee. So what we do is we say, we want you to agree to give a percentage of your revenue back to the consumer, back to the customer, back to the person that's spending money with you. So they'll set a percent. Let's just say they set like 10%. So whenever that customer spends money with that business, the business is happy because they get, their revenue. The customer is happy because they're getting a percentage of that revenue coming back to them, which will cause a customer to go back to that business time and time again, especially if it's like a restaurant or one of these high transaction type businesses. But we take it one step further, where we say, what wouldn't it be great if we also took a percentage of that 10% and we donated it to a nonprofit of the business choice as well as to the consumer's choice? So every time a transaction happens, the business benefits, the consumer benefits, and two nonprofits, if selected, they benefit. And then the platform takes a small fee as well. So that's really what differentiates us, because it removes a lot of the risk for businesses to take part in it. And it's also doing some social good for folks. So that's one of the things that truly makes us unique.
Interesting. Quite an interesting concept. And the money that goes to nonprofits, they know it comes from the businesses, right?
Yes, correct. So it's really going to become a viral type growth system, and where these businesses, can use as a story, right? The platform keeps track of how much money is being donated, to the nonprofits. For nonprofits, it's great because, when you're a nonprofit, you're always trying to find ways to raise money. You're always trying to find supporters. Right, you're always trying to tell your story, the impact that you're having. So, for nonprofits, they want to be a part of the platform because they receive revenues off of off of transactions that happen. So, for a nonprofit, what we do is we have nonprofits join, and then we say, "Hey, you probably have a customer base, or you probably have a membership or an association of folks who want to support your nonprofit. Let's make them aware that when they shop at these businesses on the exchange, a percentage of those shopping that people are doing every day can come back to the nonprofit. So it becomes a fundraising campaign that just keeps on giving, right? So nonprofits love it, and yes, the system keeps track of the businesses. Nonprofits can see if the business wants it. They can see who's supporting them, who chose them, and so all that impact is very measurable.
Yeah. Okay. It's a lot for people to understand. Did you want to share your screen and maybe explain it a little bit more with some visual?
It's sure I can share, and more so for people to go to the platform, and kind of take a look at it and play around with it. Because again, it is in the early stages. Um, but how I'm building this platform is I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for people to participate. And so as we're developing this, what we're saying to people is that if I have to explain to someone what to do, then it's broken. Um, so, because there's a lot to it on the back end, but in the beginning, again, it's a very simple process. So I don't know if I want to go into like the back end side of it, but what I would do is encourage people to go to mvpmarketexchange.com, where they can very easily sign up. If you're a business, you can kind of click on business and sign up. If you're a nonprofit, because we definitely need nonprofits, you can sign up. And then also, if you are a consumer, you can sign up as a consumer as well. And again, it's free to join. And then there's one more component that it's live and working, but I'm just putting the finishing touches on in terms, again, just simplifying it. There's also a professional component to this as well, because initially we built it primarily for consumers, businesses, and nonprofits. But we say, you know what? There are a lot of professionals, whether you be, a lawyer or a financial advisor or a CPA. You may not be a traditional freestanding business, but we didn't want to leave out professionals. So if you are a professional, we wanted to create a platform that encouraged individuals to refer you. So what you would do is you would join the exchange, and you would set up a referral fee if you wanted. So again, we have some other folks who are, we call them regulated professionals, where they might not be able to offer a referral fee. But for those that can, you can set a referral fee. Let's say your referral fee is 5% or 10%. And so what happens there is every time someone sees you on the exchange, when they go to the directory, they can actually refer someone to you. And again, when you actually conduct the business, a transaction, the system keeps track of that, and then you can agree to pay that person whatever referral fee that you set, and the system keeps track of that. Again, out of that referral fee, the same thing happens where we pay a nonprofit a percentage of that referral fee as well. So again, the professionals happy because they just got a client, and the nonprofit is happy because they're getting a percentage of that. So again, we're just trying to create an ecosystem and a reason for reputable businesses and professionals can be on the platform. They can receive visibility, and they were creating a reason for folks to connect, for folks to do business, with each other. Um, like I said, it's deeper than that. There's more that you can do as a professional, but the main thing is let's give these professionals visibility, because we already know we're going to have traffic going to the site, because people are going to go to the site to find out, what businesses are listed, what professions are listed, because people are sending them there. So we already know we're going to have a ton of traffic going there. And then they can go there to choose to just do business with a professional, or we want to create a system where we encourage others to refer other professionals that they may have built a relationship with. So that's the concept. So again, I just want to try and keep it as simple as possible. But if you are a business owner, especially if you're a local business owner, this is, I believe, a home run, because as a business owner, our goal is to get your existing customers, give them a reason to come back to you and use you over and over again. And then the other thing that we do is our goal is to get your existing customers to tell their friends and family or their network about you. And we incentivize them to do that. And the way that we do that is, if you're part of the platform, and everyone that signs up, they have their own referral link or affiliate link in the marketing world, but they have their referral link. So whenever you refer your link to a friend or family, when that friend or family goes and shops at any business on the exchange, including the business, that initially invited them, because you referred them, you also get a small percentage of that transaction every time it happens. So we're going to incentivize, folks to share this. So really excited about, the platform and the structure and the viral sending that's going to happen with this.
Yeah, but I would have to say that a lot of people have heard of Marketing 101. This is more like Marketing 105 or 106. It's stepping beyond what people think of marketing as. Because, like you said, by getting your business on that platform, it's like advertising your business too at the same time, as well as being there in reach of other people. And I do have to say, folks, my business is already on that platform.
Absolutely. And I
Um,
think that's a smart move, because like I said, the traffic is going to come because everyone that's on the platform, um, they can receive real value, right? And you know,
yeah,
there's ways to do more, to go faster, but the platform is designed to where we don't ask for any money until you actually receive value. And I think that's how a lot of marketing should be done, right?
yeah,
If it's possible. Again, I don't want to pretend like, we don't, in our traditional marketing, that we don't, have clients pay up front, but I want to create something that everyone can get involved in, everyone can get behind, everyone can see value. And so I know we have something, because we put a lot of time and energy into building it out. So I'm excited about it.
yeah. Plus, it also sounds like it would work out for businesses to kind of network with each other too.
Yeah, that's another hidden feature on the professional side. So within the dashboard, and again, I'm not showing it because I don't want to like click around, and I want to keep it simple for people. You can go in and kind of play around with it. But within the dashboard, when you join, it will actually make recommendations of people who you should connect with. So these could be potential referral partners. So as the platform grows, the system will automatically suggest, hey, you should connect with this person. You should connect with that person. And the system encourages that introduction, because it's all about, connecting with people and seeing how can we help each other, right? So there's definitely a networking portion to this. When we were designing the platform, I took a look at a lot of the platforms I was currently using. Again, I told you I was huge on LinkedIn, Alignable, which is another great platform. I looked at some of the other platforms out there that people were utilizing. It's okay, what do I like about all these platforms? And what do I dislike about all these platforms? And so I try to
Yeah.
keep all the things I like, throw away all the things I did not like, and then improve upon the things that I liked that other platforms were doing. And so that's how we design the exchange with that in mind. And I know that once people go into it and they start, using it, playing around with it, they're going to be pleasantly surprised in regards to what's possible with the exchange.
Yeah. I've, like I said, my business is already on it. I've been in there playing around and checking things out. And
Mhm.
yeah, and I feel like the platform will even expand beyond what it is. As it grows, it'll expand as far as adding features to it.
Yes. Again, it's hard. Like, when you're a developer, when you're a founder, you're building platforms, um, you put a lot into it. You put a
Yeah.
lot of features. Again, like there's a platform that I've used called Go High Level, and a lot of marketers use that platform, and it's an amazing platform. But it's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a lot, and so the exchange has a lot as well. But I intentionally made the exchange in a way in which you can do a lot with it, but I don't want to give people access to do all those things until they've done the basic things, until they've taken action. Because what I find is that confused people do nothing, right? So again, it's
Yeah.
designed to be simple for people to utilize and get clients, or get referrals, or get connections. So I really wanted to design something that the average everyday person can log into, can sign up for, doesn't cost them any money, but get real value. Then once you get the real value, then, if you want to subscribe, and do more or earn more, then you have the ability to do that. But I want you to get the value first. And so that's been our
Yeah.
philosophy.
Yeah. And that's that's basically how it should be. That people in there, let them get used to a little bit at a time, and then they can move on and do other things with it. I think it's very incredible platform. I like it,
Thank you.
and I am starting to spread the word about it to other people. I think that will make good use of it too.
Yeah, I think it's going to help a lot. Again, I'm trying to keep it simple for the everyday user, right? But if you're a chamber of commerce, right, and you have all these members, and you're trying to figure out, how do I get these members to interact and to support each other and do business, with each other? The exchange can very easily be that platform. You want to have your own ecosystem just for your particular organization. It is wired to do that as well. So it definitely is an enterprise grade platform. So when you talked about it expanding, we believe this is going to be as big as Amazon, in the very near future, because a lot of thought has gone into design it to grow, right? Just
Yeah.
folks can generate revenue by being a part of the exchange, by sharing the exchange. I looked at some of these other platforms like TikTok and Facebook. I have a daughter that's really big on TikTok, and she started
Yeah.
maybe about 4 or 5 months. Just TikTok has a special program. So she signed up for the program and started just sharing content. And so now her videos is she has packages that come to her house, like 10, 15 packages a week that come to her house. And she doesn't have to buy hair products or anything for the next 6 months. right? So all she does is create a video, and these companies pay her to do it, right? So we want the exchange, to eventually grow into a platform where people can come and really get a lot of value and generate revenue from it as well. So again, step by step, those things will happen.
Yeah.
There's a ton of value in it right now, but those future things you're talking about is already wired for that, but we'll slowly expose it as we get more users onto the platform.
So folks, if you want to get in like on the bottom level of this great program, now's the time to get involved before it
Yeah,
starts
yeah, it's
before it
in
starts
again,
taking off.
it's in when I'm really looking, I would love to have at this moment, I would love to have if you're a local business, a brick and mortar, restaurants, salons, barbershops, anyone that has like foot traffic, I would love to have you reach out, join the exchange. Because again, our initial goal is how do we get your existing customers to come back to you? And how do we get those existing customers to tell their friends and family? And then from there, we utilize some additional marketing to drive, more traffic to you. And again, you don't pay
Yeah.
until customers spend money with you. So any local businesses, I would love to get you onto the platform because I want your feedback. We need your feedback. And then also professionals. And then I don't want to forget about the nonprofits. If you're a nonprofit, definitely reach out because these businesses, they need someone to send their percentages to. So we definitely want you on the platform as well. The consumers, those will come. Those will naturally come the way it's set up. But we definitely need the businesses on the platform.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you, Marvin, right now that I am getting ready to set a meeting up with the new president of the local chamber of commerce. And your platform will probably most likely be in the topic of discussion.
Well, that's fantastic. I would love that, and for anyone that has connections with chambers or associations, I'm more than willing, to jump on a call, and give a demo of how it would work for those types of organizations. So yeah, if you are in that realm, if you have contacts, and again, you're rewarded. You are rewarded for making those connections when those transactions, happen. As an introducer, you are definitely, rewarded. So um, everyone wins when you're part of the
Yeah.
exchange.
Well, one person I know would love to talk to you, I'm sure would have some questions, would be Kurt. If he's available while driving, hopefully he's not driving and Sue is. Kurt, if you've been listening, do you have questions or comments? If you're able to. I know you're on the road. No. I don't know if they're actually on the road yet or not. But if they're listening, if you get a chance, you want to come in and ask some questions. We've got time yet. Um,
Oh, so Melvin, how did you come up with your logo that's behind you?
I'm a huge Superman fan, um, and so the whole Superman deal. So I wanted to have something that kind of reflected that. And so I just kind of like the initial logo and what it looked like, and people like it. It really, people comment on it all the time, and I always like to try and provide super results. So yeah, I decided, hey, let's go with that.
yeah, it is
Awesome.
it does call attention. It does. Anything else, Emily?
Not sure at the moment, but if I come up with anything else, certainly ask.
So, um, how is the best way right now that you're getting the word out about? Is it on the platforms without the
Yeah,
talking to
so
individuals?
yeah, so again, we haven't gone full blown yet in terms of marketing because we are a marketing agency. If we wanted to turn the knob up, we could. So I've been just connecting with people inside of different groups. One of the other things that I'm doing is doing outreach on LinkedIn. I have a pretty um, huge LinkedIn network as well. And so one of my primary services I've helped a lot of people with is how do you start conversations with your ideal prospect on LinkedIn. And so I have a system that we designed that allows us to automatically reach out to people on LinkedIn. So I'm running a campaign right now. I'm reaching out to local restaurant owners and setting up meetings with those individuals to get them onto the platform. So that's one of the things we're doing. Because to me, all marketing is identifying who it is you want to target, to figure out where they hang out, like where they congregate, and how do you put
Yeah,
an intriguing message in front of that person to get them to say, "Hey, yes, I want to talk to you about your thing." And to me, there's no more intriguing message than let me send you clients, but you don't pay until those clients pay you, right? So that gets folks' attention, and if you can deliver on that, which the exchange can. Um, it's going to have a lot of people raising their hand and say, "Hey, yeah, let's definitely, give it a shot and see what this platform can do." So again, for me, I'm excited about it, because I know that once people get it and once we simplify the platform and keep it simple, then it'll start to virally grow from there. So that's why, to me, I'm not concerned about it not growing. I know it's going to grow. My main concern is making sure it's simple to where, like I said earlier, if I have to explain it, then it's broken. Right. So,
yeah,
you know, um, one of the things about having your own business, this is another reason why I built the exchange. I realized that um, we all get in business because we want the freedom, and we've been pretty fortunate, but a lot of times you are the business. One of my friends always say, you're the CEO, the janitor, all in one. And what I realize is that if you don't have a business that doesn't run without you, you basically have a job. And so for me, the exchange, I'm passionate about it because it's the first thing that I've created that I believe will be able to grow and expand without myself having to be the face of and explain how it works. So I wanted to work for people and give them
yeah,
results, and I wanted to be simple where anyone can log into it and immediately get started and get results. And then if you want more help, then we'll have a team to kind of help, with helping you get even more out of the platform. But the simplicity of it, that was number one for me. Simplicity and making sure that it does what we say that it does. And that's really how it's been designed and how we continue to make tweaks to make sure that we over deliver on that promise.
yeah. Um, my mind was just working. The gears were spinning if you couldn't tell. Um, when you start advertising with video, I have a great idea. Right?
Okay.
Talk about that when the time comes.
So you said when I start advertising with video, you have a great idea?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm definitely going to be doing some advertising. And like I mentioned before as well, we're also bringing on interns, right? Because I think it's a great way to be a part of a platform that's been developed, and now you're kind of growing it from the ground up. So to be a part of that whole process in terms of what goes into that, right? So to me, it's all about giving people opportunities. And eventually, it's going to grow. Right? We're going to have to, hire beyond interns and support people and onboarding individuals. So we have a huge vision. But right now, we're going to have interns that's going to help us get the word out, especially at different campuses and universities. We're going to have campus ambassadors as well, because you can walk into almost any business and let people know what it is that we're offering. And then we try to make the sign-up process as simple as possible. So we know business owners are busy. And so again, it's all about how do we simplify this? How do we streamline it? How do we not interrupt the flow of what people normally already do? So a lot of thought and energy has gone into building this out to make sure that it is successful.
Yeah. I was going to say something. Lost my train of thought again. I have a habit of doing this. Of course, it is a Friday evening, so it's understandable. But yeah, a couple of other options coming up that I need to talk to you about at a later time. I'm getting the word out about what it is. I know from being on different platforms that there is a lot that goes into putting the platforms together. A lot of people don't realize the behind the scenes of making something that's going to work and last, and especially keeping it simple in the process. That's the hardest part with a lot of the platforms. They're not easy to work around. Like my example of that is when I get started in marketing, I started out as starting a travel agency and hooked up with an international host company. Granted, they gave me the website, the back office, they kept specials up to date. They were doing all the background work. And I figured that, well, if they were doing all of that, I'd be getting clients in through them. Didn't happen that way, not a one. So I had to get my own clients. So how am I going to do that? I heard people putting ads on Facebook. I said, well, how difficult can it be? I fudged my way through it, put a couple of ads out, but nothing really paid off. Then I bumped into a guy, well, COVID hit, so there went that idea of a travel business. Spinning 360, I was starting in marketing. I said, I might as well keep this going and try and get clients. And I found an ad on Facebook, a guy that was teaching a course out in San Diego, 16-week online course. I took his course and here I am in marketing. Since then, I've been expanding. More things to offer to my clients. But so yeah, we're both in marketing, kind of similar ways, kind of different ways, which is good. I mean, why marketers sometimes will team up and work together.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I'm also looking to connect with other marketers, right? Other website designers, other folks in the AI space, other folks in SEO. And the reason is because the exchange, again, there's so many uses for the exchange, but the exchange is a door opener. So instead of you going to a business and saying, hey, let me do your marketing, or hey, pay me for marketing, you're actually going to a client or a business and saying, hey, let me give you something of value. Let me prove to you or show you a way in which I am going to send you clients, and you don't pay for those clients until they spend money with you. So now it's a door opener. when you're talking to these businesses. So I already know we have some folks who are, um, I have one gentleman that's in pest control, right? And that's what he really wants to sell is pest control. And so he goes around to these businesses, all the time. And instead of going there and immediately talking about pest control, he's going there, he's talking to them about how he can help bring them more customers, which is what they really want to hear, right? And now, once we do that, he's the hero. And so now they are more open, to helping him with his primary business. So if there are marketers that are listening to this, I'm definitely looking to partner, with you. We don't, uh, I would love to not even do the traditional marketing. That's why I built this platform, as I mentioned before. I finally created something, right, that can build and grow without, myself having to be the one to explain it. But if you are a marketer, in the space, then we'd love to have a conversation with you about how we can work with some of your existing customers, um, to help them generate more business without having to pay for it. So this can basically enhance what you're already doing and be used as a way to open up doors to get more people to want to have a conversation with you. So that's another use for the exchange.
Yeah, and on that note too, it's like, okay, say I go into a client in the beginning, I said, hey, before we talk about marketing, I have this platform that I can put you onto that will open the door, won't cost you anything. What that's going to do too, right off the bat, is build up the trust. Now the clients are going to have plenty of trust in that person.
Right.
And
You are 100% correct. And I'll give you one more thing as well. A lot of times, folks ignore nonprofits because they hear nonprofit. They think they don't have money, right, to do any marketing,
yeah,
right? But these nonprofits are organizations and they have staff and they have a team. They have to tell their story, have to get the word out, right? They need websites. They need
yeah,
all of these things, just like a traditional business is. So imagine walking to a nonprofit and instead of saying, hey, spend money with me on marketing, you saying, hey, I want to create a way, or I want to donate money to you. Like I want to give you money. I don't want to take money from you. I want to give you money. Imagine how that opens up doors if you want to deal
yeah.
and work with some of these nonprofits. So there's so many different uses for the exchange, and I'm excited about the folks that it's going to attract and how they're going to use it. They're going to probably use it in ways I never thought about, which is why I'm always open to having strategic partners because there's some intelligent people in this world, right? People are already doing certain things and they can help to enhance it or figure out how the exchange can again fit with what they're doing, even make it better. So I'm very open to having conversations with potential strategic partners around growing exchange.
Like the conversation that me and you had the other day. Uh,
Absolutely.
um, but yeah, I can see how this would work with marketers and a lot of other, like you said, professionals to help them expand their businesses as well. Um, I'm actually looking forward to the future with the exchange. Um, it might get me off of a line a little bit more,
No,
but
again,
yeah,
it's a great Alignable is a great platform, but I have built some things inside the exchange that are similar, but then also enhanced versions of it
yeah,
as well. We have a something that's called warm referrals, whereas LinkedIn outreach, you do a lot of cold outreach on LinkedIn, with the exchange design to encourage people to do warm introductions. So I can request you introduce me to someone, ping you to introduce me to someone, and when you do, now you can make an introduction, there's a connection. So now we do business together. Then because I made the introduction, I get some type of incentive for that or some type of reward for making that introduction. So I intentionally removed a lot of the cold introductions, and I wanted to create a system where we ask our network to introduce us to people that we truly knew, we truly had connections with. And the system, writes the introduction for you and everything. You can edit if you wanted to, but point and click, just make it as simple as possible for people to utilize. So it has those features in there.
Yeah. Before I forget, how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, so, and I'm sure we'll put some links in there, but the best way is to go to the exchange, mvpmarketingexchange.com. They can also go email me at melvin@mvpmr.com. So melvin@mvpmr.com. And then you can also set up a 15-minute meeting if you wanted to at book.mvpmarketingresults.com. So it's book.mvpmarketingresults.com. So those are really the best ways. And I'm also on LinkedIn as well, and Alignable, because I know you have an Alignable audience as well. So I have profiles on both of those as well. So open to, like I said, having conversations with folks. I think what we're building here, I know what we're building here is going to make a real difference. We're flipping the marketing model upside down, and I think we're going to do some great things.
I think so. I'm what I've seen of the exchange so far is I'm impressed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very good job. And I urge people, go on, check it out. See what it can do for your business as well. Kurt, do you want to pop in here real quick? Unless you're driving on the road? Or if Sue wants to pop in? I call them my co-hosts.
It's kind of loud here right now. We're in a drive-through. So
So did you like what you've heard, Sue?
yes, I gotta say I haven't caught as much as I had hoped I would have at this point. I'm gonna be re-listening to this one so I can hear all the things.
Oh yeah.
So and actually let me mute for just a moment because I'm sorry, it is loud here.
Okay. They're on the road, folks. So
Yeah. And even if you're not a business, if you are just a traditional consumer and you want to potentially work with or just check out who's actually on the platform, you can sign up as a consumer as well. So you don't have to be a business or a professional or nonprofit. You can also sign up as a regular consumer as well, because you might want to share the exchange with others, because even as a consumer, when you share the exchange, you're rewarded as well. So I didn't want to leave those out.
yeah. On that topic too, when a consumer comes on and signs up on the exchange, they can go to different businesses and access, say if it's an online business, access their websites.
Yep. Every person that joins, or every business or professional that joins, they have a profile that's on the exchange, almost like a directory where they can go and they can filter and they can search. So, if someone is looking for a restaurant, near me, or if someone's looking for a counselor in a particular city, so there's filters that will bring up, those professionals or those businesses, and it also clearly shows what the cashback amount is, what the referral rate is. They're able to see all of that on the directory. Yep.
And well, I'll have to have you back on in a couple of months and we'll see how it's going.
Yeah,
It should be
yeah.
built very well by then.
Yes, I would love to come back on and share some of the stories, the success stories, and kind of show you, how we've grown and how the directory and exchange has expanded. And again, maybe even invite some people, that have taken part of the exchange. They can kind of share their experience as well. So I think that
Yeah.
that also would be pretty powerful.
Yeah, we can do that. We pretty much coming up on the end of our time here. If anybody would like to get a hold of me, you can find me on the Alignable platform. You can find me on most social media platforms, either by my name, John Petros Sr., or by my company name, Mill City Marketing, MA. You want to shoot me an email, millcitymarketingma@gmail.com. If you go onto my website, which is millcitybusinesshelp.com, and one S at the end of business. Was not done on purpose. But it does make it unique. You can find my contact info all on that also, as well as on my Alignable page if you're on Alignable. And if you're a business and you're not on Alignable, you should come join the 10 million other businesses across the US and Canada. And that is pretty much all I have to say. Emily, I want to close us out here. Until next week, folks. I don't know what next week's show is going to hold yet, but the rest of the month of May, it's going to be a powerful month.
Thank you for allowing me to be on. I really appreciate, the questions and the platform and the opportunity. So thank you very much.
And thank you for coming. It's been a pleasure. Like I said, we'll have you back again.
Great.
All right, Emily.